I learned that the suspicion that I ordinarily encounter as a man by myself, the looks of distrust, women being nervous and closed off, suddenly vanishes. Being with a woman in public is like putting on a magic cloak, and all of the social rules change and everybody treats you differently. The subtle hostility that you encounter as a man by yourself completely evaporates when you're with a woman. I think that most people kind of know this, that a man can increase his social status by associating with pretty women. Like, it's a good look to have a gorgeous young girl on your arm. But for me, I never really noticed the difference until I started filming interviews for this channel. Some of my more recent subscribers probably don't know that the first 40 or so videos on this channel was just me going out onto the street, going to universities, going to beaches with an iPad and asking women questions about dating psychology. I would approach women and I'd say, hey, sorry to bother you. I'm doing this thing for YouTube. Want to answer some questions, bit of fun. I'm not a professional pickup artist, but I do know my stuff. I know how to talk and carry myself. I know how to make women feel comfortable and reassure them that I'm not a creep, and that's how I was able to get so much footage. But for all of the girls who agreed to go on camera and answer my questions, what you didn't see are the women who refused and said no to being interviewed. You never saw those interactions where I would approach a woman, and from the moment that I started speaking to her, I received this look of suspicion, almost contempt, that was designed to communicate the message, why are you talking to me? Doing this kind of work, you do develop a thick skin, but it's not fun to approach women and have them respond to you in such a way that makes you feel as though you've done something wrong, just by being a man and talking to them. Now, in the course of filming, I accidentally stumbled across a strategy that ensured that I never, ever got a hostile response again. Ever. And that was to bring a female friend along with me while I was filming. Suddenly, every woman that I spoke to was friendly and open. Honestly, I cannot understate the difference in the response that I got. Approaching women for interviews as a man-woman team, as opposed to just a single man approaching them, was like night and day. What used to take me 2 hours to do in order to get enough footage for a video, suddenly I could do in 45 minutes to an hour, because every woman that I approached was just so much more amenable to participating in what I was doing because I was partnered with a woman. But more than that, it just completely removed any negative reactions. Like, often when you ask people for interviews, they might be, busy, they're doing something, or they're just too nervous to appear on camera. That's completely understandable. But when I was with a woman, it was never like, no, I'm not doing that. It was always like, oh, that sounds really fun. I'm so sorry. I'd love to. Really, really polite, really, really friendly. I got really fascinated by this phenomenon, and I began to actively study the women's responses. And I swear you could see that moment in real time when the woman was calmed by the presence of another woman. This is how it would always go down. When approaching women, I would always speak first. I would apologize for interrupting their day, and you'd get that look of fear or suspicion. Who is this guy? Why is he talking to me? Why has he broken social convention and just started talking to a stranger? What does he want? The next thing that I would do is introduce myself and the female friend that I was with. I swear, the moment that their eyes moved from me and onto the woman and realized that I wasn't a single man, I was a man part of a man-woman team, instant calm, instant relaxation. This was not a once-off. This happened again and again and again with all of the women that we spoke to. Some women were friendly off the bat. They didn't mind that I was a man. Like, they're just friendly people. That was lovely. But for those women who had that look of fear and suspicion, all of them were calmed when they saw that I was with a woman. I truly don't believe that anything I could have said, even if I was the most accomplished salesman, most accomplished pickup artist in the entire world, I don't think anything would have been as effective as the simple fact of being with a woman. Now, for me, it really took multiple experiences, doing this again and again and again, and seeing that contrast to truly appreciate just how much I have accepted and internalized as normal the level of distrust I receive from women in public as a default. Walking through life as a man, you just have to accept and tolerate a level of suspicion from women about who you are and what you're doing, what your motives are. Doing those interviews with a female partner gave me a window, like an insight into what life would be like as a woman, and to not have to deal with this de facto level of mistrust, and suspicion. And it made me really envious. Now, men have thousands of privileges that women don't have. I'm not denying that. But on this one, I'm not sure that women actually understand the level of privilege they have in this regard that men don't. I don't think that they understand that as a woman, they automatically have social proof and validation in a way that a man never will. It seems like as the default, men are judged as unsafe and women are judged as safe. And that makes a huge difference in how you're treated in your first impressions. Eventually, I didn't even bother to go out filming by myself. I made it a rule that if I was going to go out, I would always take a female friend with me. This was because even though like 90+% of my interactions were lovely and uplifting, I came to resent that single man stigma so much, and it really got in my head, and I wanted to enjoy the experience of filming and doing these interviews, and bringing a woman with me guaranteed that. Now, I'm not saying this to complain or to, play the victim or rage against injustice. I'm not doing that, because to do that would make me a huge hypocrite, because I know deep down at the bottom of my soul, I also discriminate. Picture this scenario. In the distance, there's a woman that you really care about, a female friend, a little sister, your girlfriend, anybody. And there is a man standing there talking to her, and he has his phone out and he is filming. Now, as a masculine man, I'm sure that your instincts would kick in and you'd feel protective. You would want to go over there and make sure that nothing nefarious is going on. But now let's change that scenario and imagine that your little sister is not just talking to a man by himself, but he's talking to a man-woman team and they're filming. Now, speaking purely for myself, I would probably still go over there to check out everything, make sure it's okay, but I would feel less anxious about it. Now, we should not be judging people based on their group identity. It's awful. That's what racism and sexism and homophobia is. We need to be judging people as individuals. But we're not perfect, and when it comes to assessing danger, we do make quick judgments. I think that most people would admit that when their brain is calculating risk and danger, they would assess a single man is more likely to be a threat than a single woman. So as much as this, kind of sucks, I don't think that complaining is really going to help. We have to accept this is reality and then ask ourselves, well, then what do we do with this information? Because after you get over the indignation, you actually realize that understanding this phenomenon allows you to use it to your advantage. What comes to mind are the old school pickup artists who, when they would go out to a club, they would bring a really hot female friend with them to act as like a wingman, or like a wing woman in this case. And it was really, really effective because being with this gorgeous girl gave them that instant social proof that other women would find attractive. When a man starts hitting on a woman, she has to make a lot of very quick judgments. She has to be cautious and size him up. What quality is this guy? What are his motives? What are his intentions? Is he cool? Is he safe? Do other women like him? When hitting on a woman and flirting with her, a lot of guys have to spend the first couple of minutes essentially performing for her, convincing her that he's a high quality guy. He's not some creep. There's no need for her to be uncomfortable. That takes a lot of effort, and it's a lot of pressure too to not, put a single foot wrong and be judged to be like that creepy single man. But if he starts that interaction with a gorgeous girl on his arm, by his side, clearly, approving of him and validating him, then he has no need to go through that song and dance. The girl that he's hitting on quickly glances to the female friend that's accompanying him and goes, all right, he's with this girl. She's gorgeous. She seems to like him. She seems to think that he's attractive and worth socializing with. That's all I need to know. All right, no more suspicion. Let's get to some flirting. You see, women have a strong instinct for pre-selection. And what that means is that women will judge the quality of a man based on how other women are perceiving his value. This is all instinctual. Women have an innate trust of the judgments made by other women, and they will look to their female friends to confirm their own judgments about a man's quality. You've probably heard it said that if you want to get in good with a girl, you have to make a positive impression on her friends. It doesn't really matter how much a girl likes you or how positive her judgment of you is. If all of her friends say to her, he's a loser, he's a creep, he's a low quality male, 99% of the time, she's going to abandon her own judgment and go with the group. But don't get depressed, because this instinct can work in your favor. If the girl that you're hitting on sees that all the other women around you think that you're attractive and you're desirable, then she's going to be way more open and receptive to your advances. It almost sounds too simple, but I'm not exaggerating when I say this, that I don't think there's a single flirtation method or pickup technique that is ever going to be as effective at generating attraction as simply having a hot girl by your side and her making it obvious that she has judged you to be an attractive male. Being a beautiful woman, she has tremendous social sway and people will follow her lead. Now, this doesn't need to be as artificial or forced as taking a female friend to the nightclub to be your wingman. You can apply this principle of pre-selection in lots of different areas. It can be as simple as posting photos on your social media accounts of you hanging out with, your female friends, preferably really beautiful ones. Or on one of your dates, you take her to a party and she sees you interacting with the other women, all of your female friends, and she sees how much they like, respect, and admire you. Attraction is generated just exponentially when she sees you positively interacting with other beautiful women, because of pre-selection, but let's be honest, also because of some scarcity, some jealousy, oh, quick, I better secure this man before some other woman snaps him up. Being attractive to women is not just about your flirting skills. It's about your lifestyle. And I promise you, having a well-developed social circle with lots of attractive female friends is going to be just massive when it comes to you generating attraction. Having that social circle with lots of female friends demonstrates that you know women, that you understand women, that they feel safe around you, that you are a social guy and that other people see value in you. I'm going to finish this video by recommending another video that I've made, and it's called What's the Point of Female Friends? Because lots of men don't think that it makes any sense or it's really worth their time to have female friends, and I 100% disagree. I've got a link down in the description box below for that video. I highly recommend you watch it. Should you be worried about hypergamy? Is there an evolutionary explanation for why human beings seek meaning in life? And is there a limit to human potential? All of these topics and many more are covered in exclusive videos available on my Patreon page. This includes my latest video, Is it possible for a man to have more than one purpose in his life? In this video, I talk about the difference between highly ambitious individuals who want to achieve the very top in their chosen field and men who live a more balanced life and have interests ranging in lots of different areas. I talk about what men can learn from women when it comes to setting priorities, as well as the differences between men and women when it comes to choosing lifestyles. Lastly, I talk about all the numerous ways that men can derive meaning from their life that doesn't relate to their work. If you're someone who's curious to know what makes your life meaningful and what gives you purpose and where you should be looking for inspiration, I highly recommend you check out this video. For every video that I post here on YouTube, I post an additional bonus video on my Patreon page. That means that at the moment, you're only seeing half of the total content that I create. If you would like access to the other half, then please go and sign up at my Patreon. It's just a $5 a month subscription and you get instant access to a whole bunch of exclusive content. It's a wonderful way to support the channel and I would love to see you over there.